Welcome to the ripple effect of love for dads and families. Today we celebrate gratitude, we celebrate you, and we are also looking at this question, bringing it up save right now. Are you unconsciously raising your child to have low self esteem? How will you know if you're doing it unconsciously? How do you know if you're affecting your child that way? Well, take a peek at your child. Do you feel that your child has low self esteem? It could be you, it could be your spouse. Yes, I know I'm blaming the parent, but dads and families that are listening today, this is very, very important. We sometimes don't realize the effect we have on our children. We want things to be perfect for them, and we are criticizing this, criticizing that, because we want it to be well. Our intentions are amazing. The issue is the words we're using, the body language we're using, or even words, body language, our facial expression, right? The way we stand, the way we mimic with our face. So those are all aspects that are super important. They can be super important in your business as well, in your relationship with your relatives, with your community. Sometimes we don't even hear ourselves telling our child, no, you can't do this. No, this needs to be done this way. No. And especially in that 2-year old age, it's so easy for us to say no, right? They're exploring everywhere. So for the 2-year old, I forgot to admit, I'm Christine Bernard, stress management coach, and much more. And my specialty is helping you personally um, transmute, transcend, clear, liberate, bring freedom to your inner child. How do I do that? I use my gifts that I was born with and had hidden away for over 50 years. So now that I can use them, I am excited because yesterday I helped this beautiful lady just connect back to her 5-year old and to release all the pain that 5-year old had picked up, wanting to support mom, wanting to, um, just not be in the way, wanting to, so many different aspects, which brings about, our children interpret the world in a different way than we do. And I will bring back the example of you've got 5 people looking at an accident happening in front of them. One or two of them, or three, will say, I don't know, it happened all so fast. I didn't have time to see anything. I blinked and it was over. And then you've got the person that says, they came and swerved. And then, I don't know, something popped out and okay. And then you've got the other type of person who will have videotaped the whole thing and is watching it kind of in their head as they're telling you exactly what happened. So what type of child is your child? And are they disconnecting from their heart to please you without you realizing it, and most certainly without them really realizing it, because they love you and they want to please you. Let's say that again. Because they love you and they want to please you. They want you to be happy. They want you to be proud of them. And not all kids are like that. I agree. But many children are that way. So, deep breath in. Let's release some of that. It's very important. It's not, well, how you said it, yes, but as we watched the story about the car accident. Sorry, my mind is going in 25 different directions, and I want to stay focused. So, the child that we don't know how our children register information, and it's our responsibility to check in with them. Is there anything I say that makes you feel a bit down, depending on the age, that makes you feel upset or makes you feel angry? Or, are there some words or some ways of being? And that is a powerful dad. That is a powerful parent, grandparent, because we do have grandparents watching the show. Congratulations to you. Some grandparents are helping with their grandchildren, and things are very different. So I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of the dads that are here and that are maybe taking in this information and going, I don't know what you're talking about, Christine. And it's okay. Just take a deep breath, tap on a meridian point just to calm your amygdala down. If you're in that situation, you're like, what is she talking about? How can I unconsciously be raising my child to have low self-esteem? How do I know it's possible? I did it. Yeah, and I was a teacher. How could a teacher not know that? Well, are we educated at the university level on how to boost your students' self-esteem? I wasn't. If I was, I don't remember, and I don't think it's done today, unfortunately. And if you as an individual don't have an amazing self-esteem, most likely there's something happening, that we are saying things and we're bringing it about in a way that our child feels that we're taking away their self-esteem. And it's a tough one. It's a really tough one. So let's just take a nice deep breath. Relax those shoulders as we tap and zap that onto the spiraling train, especially if you feel it in your body. If you feel it in the thoughts, bring your hands around your ears and send that into the hot air balloon. Yep, you got it. Relax and exhale. And bring in some more self-love and your inner intuition. And that's why, right from the first episode, I was talking about self-love. And then within a couple more episodes, inner wisdom. Because when I was talking to another parent yesterday, when I asked, what is the greatest lesson your child has taught you so far? And the parent said, after thinking for a minute or so, said, grace. My child is teaching me to have grace. Now, this parent was really good at reframing, which is excellent. Reframing means when you take a thought that you have and you say, just a minute, yeah, no, not yet, this is not going to happen, this is not true, or we are able to take it apart, reframe it, and then process it in a different way. So our children are really here. They're our best teachers once we accept that. And it's really hard for a lot of us to accept that. When my kids were young, I think somebody said that to me, and I said, what do you mean my kids are my best teachers? I'm a teacher and I have kids, so I know better. Yeah, right. Okay, letting go of that thought, right? Because that's not serving me. How is that serving me? How are negative things serving me right now? Right? I want you to know that all your efforts that you're putting forth right now, your focus, your efforts or your focus are creating a ripple effect of love. And that is the most beautiful thing, in my opinion, that you can offer your children, your your spouse, those that you interact with, because being able to offer a ripple effect of love, imagine, right? So I just want you to pay attention over the next week, next month. You can ask. I don't know if Christian is there. I don't see him. So, oh, there he is. So I just want you to pay attention. Take a peek and see. What are you observing? What are you actually seeing? Maybe your spouse and you want to play a game and say, who is saying something that criticizes our children? How do we say it? And you just play that game to see, oh, I think it in a nice way, obviously, and you self regulate. It's not who's wrong and who's right. It's about how can I stop saying those words that make my child feel or lower their self esteem. Welcome, Christian. I'm excited to see you here. Yeah, if you can bring your head up, it would be nice.
Yeah,
You're
we're
sinking down below the screen.
no, no, no,
How are you
definitely
today?
just the position of the phone. I'm amazing. So I will jump in, and I couldn't hear because of the audio, so no worries. But I can hear you now.
Okay,
I
good.
just caught the tail end, but boy, I want to say something that's really it was wow, mind blowing yesterday. Listening to a couple of speakers and so on and so forth, and one goes, their perspective in regards to a
Mhm.
situation that they weren't fully aware of. So, as you say, maybe between kids there's a disagreement, and we hear one of maybe
Yes.
the kid that listens more, and then we hear the other version of another kid, and
Yes.
he's not as well behaved, right? Because all children are different, as all of us are different.
Mhm.
Remember, folks, you are loved, you are important, you
Yes.
matter.
Yes.
We love you,
Yes.
and we
Yeah.
encourage you. Okay, so
And
knowing
sending you
that,
lots of love no
yeah,
matter what
yeah,
you're
yeah,
going through.
yeah,
Lots of love.
woo! Um, because we understand that us as humans,
Mhm.
connecting that is different, and sometimes, although our expression may be, that assumption may be completely incorrect. And you say, well, what do you mean?
Yes.
So I was told something, and I'm just like, or you get told something, and or you're confronted with something and you giggle. So I'm gonna make this in real
Mm.
time, but I'm also gonna give you the
Yes,
perception.
the giggle thing. That's a big thing we don't realize sometimes that we're doing, but it does
Hmm.
mean something. Keep
It
going. I
does.
love that.
So the perception that it was an example that I was listening to in regards to a tree being cut down and being able to see two stumps flat down, and you're all of a sudden seeing this big, beautiful, wide view angle of nature. But then you see well, she saw the two stumps way down and cut and
Mhm.
cleared out, and oh my god. Oh my gosh, wait. I wanted, I would have appreciated the view and everything, but not if it came down to these nature, and I can't imagine it. So
Mhm.
to give you a perspective,
Yeah.
the person went and they looked after, and they didn't find anything. So they're
Mhm.
kind of like, oh man, I just feel bad. And then a couple of days later, they saw somebody that was across the way where she can see the new view and looking
Mhm.
at the palm trees and taking pictures. Oh man, I'm in trouble now. I must have really done it. because they cut those things down and blah blah blah. So long story short, the person said, "Well, did you check? Did you see any mess and whatever?" So they went, they drove out, whatever kind of time, and she was just feeling really bad, and she went to the neighbors and said, "Hey, we didn't mean to get those things cut down." And they go, "Well, there's nobody here, so." And we didn't know anything, so no worries, no harm, no foul. Then they're speaking to their friend or whatever it is, and this is just 2 3 days later, and then they say, "Well, calm down, calm down. Let's think about this." I said,
Mhm.
"Okay. Now, would you understand that if you have a small tree and you cut it down, you'll have leftovers and all of this stuff and hangings and trimmings and things like that?" She goes, "Yeah." "Did you see any of that?" "Well, no, but I was only gone for a short amount of time." But that's exactly it. If
Mhm.
we start thinking logically, or we start with our emotions, or we get hijacked into, "Oh, that's not what I meant, and that's not what I'm trying to say, and that's not, no, you're getting angry at me, no, you're shouting at me," and it's this back and forth ping pong, whether you mean to, whether you want to. And I bring this wide example because they say those two stumps have been there long before. Your little tree that would have removed somewhat of a view for you, that's only down here, and it has nothing to do with that yard or that aspect. And so, did you see? Well, I saw a couple of things from. Yeah, okay. So you didn't see a big mess from these big trees. Wouldn't you think if they just cleared some bushes from your front window, you saw the small trimmings. If they were to clear something like that, you'd have piles. You're right. So we can make
Yes.
deceptive, these deceptive, lying
Mhm.
beliefs or thoughts to ingrain and even make us feel bad.
Yes. Yes.
However, there's not even a reason to feel bad about, but because of our assumptions, and I go back
Mhm.
to it. So we're going to go back to this. The exercise that you talked about is, if you see my face, and
Mhm.
I all of a sudden just was reminded that a client needed something or another, and I'm going, "Oh, yay," because I know that that's an accomplishment that I'm going to deliver. But somebody just told me bad news, and
Mhm.
they're speaking to me, and I'm going, "Okay, yeah," because they said something that triggered something in my brain. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with me feeling excited about that.
Yes.
But if I were to say, "Hey, it's okay, don't worry about it, it's going to be fine, I got to go." Wait a minute. So now my kiddo is telling me about this daunting experience. My partner is telling me, and they assumed that I was laughing or made this joyous
Mm.
because I made this exciting thing. So I want to go back to and connect the dots because I've told you guys that I have set out a no argument clause in my marriage.
Mhm.
And that doesn't mean that we don't have disagreements.
Yes,
That
but you can
doesn't.
have conversations, but not arguments. There's a huge, huge difference between conversations and no arguments. And I'll just, since you're pointing on this, I was talking to Anna Marie and her husband. What they do is they have one person talks for 5 minutes, explains their point of view, the other person has to stay quiet. Then, and if they can't do that, they can go write it out, because for some people the emotions or whatever is too much and it's easier to just write it out. And then the other person gets 3 minutes to say their point of view, and
You
three
mentioned
minutes
that.
and
You
two
mentioned
minutes
that.
and one
And they go,
minute
yeah.
so that you have time. Is this what you meant? Right? Because we
Hmm.
need
Hmm.
clarity. We
Hmm.
have different
Hmm. Hmm.
cultures, we have different languages, we have different ways of expressing ourselves. And somebody who goes, "Ugh,"
Hmm.
I mean, I can't see that that can mean too many different things. But if you're thinking of something all of a sudden and you're absent-minded and you do that face, well, maybe has nothing to do with the person in front, but it's important to name it. So I'm going to let you continue your
Well,
story.
that's exactly what we mean, and we talk
Yeah.
about self-regulation, which is obviously what
Yes.
we're definitely here for.
Yes.
But being able to self-regulate is giving me an opportunity to let myself breathe. I'm
Yes.
yawning. It lets my
Yeah.
brain breathe.
Yes.
It shows my brain I'm in control and I
Yes.
can make my logic and my heart connect. Oh
Yes.
boy, let me tell you, if you haven't and you want to experience a whole new level of consciousness. But let me pause because I don't want to get away from this, even though I know that's where I'm being leaded. I want to say is the conversations that we have, the the no argument was because
Hmm.
as I've mentioned is I'm a stop kind of guy. I'm a
Mm.
cold turkey type of.
Yeah.
However, I am allowing myself to clearly communicate why I don't want to argue. I don't agree with your point. However, I'm not going to argue. So I know that I've set that out as a conscious. I've also set that out as a being at the forefront of my logic. That doesn't make any sense what you're telling me. And boy, you are completely wrong.
Mhm.
But that's not what my person in front of me doesn't matter who it is. It
Yeah.
does not matter.
No.
It's not to argue. And I said it with my spouse because that's it. But when I'm teaching, oh, see how it changes the words? When I'm training, when I'm educating my audience, my clients, sales reps, customer service, these are different departments and different
Hmm.
people that don't want to hear how illogical what they're saying is. Why? That time will come. They want to be heard, and in those consciousness that they bring or these points that they bring up,
Yeah.
they're seeing it from another perspective that may be unbeknownst to me.
Yes,
So
especially when we talk about marketing. I'm like, what? Slow down, slow down. I'm going to write one word down. Okay, now give me the second word, Christian, and then the third word. I mean,
and
it's
it's a
just not
different
my cup of
perspective.
tea, but
Yeah.
it's your cup of tea, and you're amazing at it.
But because I now and I so I allow them to speak because I learn, wait a minute, and this is why I voice myself. Wait a minute. I don't none of my reps have said that in the past. So now am I thinking, did they understand it? Well, yes, they understood because I have a say what you're going to say, what you're going to say it, say what you said. And then at the end, you have them repeat it for good measure so that they understand the clarity. So this has been an ongoing thing. How so you say so you say successfully seven figure, absolutely trust me, that's not what we're about. So when I started doing that with my partner, she would tell me, and I literally vividly say, because she said, I'm not one of your customers. I'm not one of your customers at this very early point that I remember.
Yeah.
Don't sell me and don't try to sell me.
Mm,
And that was a, whoa, wait a minute. So partner
yeah.
was upset because, and
Yeah.
I said, okay, well, now looking back, so many years later, at least 20 years later, okay,
Yeah.
since that happened,
Hmm.
I'm going back and thinking, I was very successful way back then in sales and doing what I'm doing and doing what I did.
Hmm.
So therefore, it elevated me to, and I was already coaching by then. So what I'm telling you, so then she would say, hey, I'm not one of your reps. Don't speak to me that way. So I
Hmm.
said, okay. I didn't understand that when I speak in front of a room, I bring on this confidence, this
Yeah.
je ne sais quoi. Woo! Ah, yeah.
Woohoo! Some French today.
Because I've just done it and I did it through. these very challenging times and these different scenarios that my skill set was just so robust and so
Mm,
phenomenally
mm,
effective
mm.
that I wanted to implement that in everything, right? Because hey, if this
Yes.
is a win, I want to repeat it. I want to repeat it. But you know what that started doing is people don't like to be told or don't want to be helped. This is a big, big, big thing.
They don't
They,
always want to be helped. And it's
I,
being able to have that distinction, right?
that's
Yeah.
where you come in. So that if you're there or almost there, I want to seek out a professional that will help you. Seek out somebody that will guide you because not everything is, and we talked about perception, we talked about repeating, and these are the things that we do because as I started understanding that even those that are coming in with little knowledge, they can vastly help me improve in my coaching, in my training, in the way that I speak to people and speak to everyone, including those that may not have a clue. And because of that, I became a better listener in the workplace and in this and in that. But I still didn't apply that in my life because I had already been told, don't speak to me. I'm not a customer. I'm not an employee. So
Mhm.
therefore, the friction or the dynamic was different. And
Yeah.
it has taken me a vast amount of not only to be able to talk to, clearly communicate, but now in these last couple of months, in last couple of weeks, last couple of days, it is elevated even more because now that what's changed is the self
Mm.
regulation that
Yeah.
if I would have known how to self regulate, how not to get upset, how not
Yeah.
to get frustrated, how to release those, or actually, no, because we all get upset, we all get frustrated, how to release those, how to
Yes.
positively
Yeah.
process those emotions and
I'm just
feelings
going to
and
pause
thoughts.
quickly because yes, it's important to feel the anger, but it's to just not dump it on others. And that's the big distinction. Yes, you need, if you're angry, you need to feel that anger, but how you process it is the most important part. Did you want to say continue? I just wanted to any emotion. Yeah, keep going. And then, it's about progress, not perfection. That's what matters the most. So when you talked about the tree stump and the trees and seeing and that, I was thinking, when you have two children that are arguing in the family, they each have their own brain, which might work very differently. I don't know many parents that have two kids, those who only have two kids, and say, oh, they're exactly the same. They process information the same. Uh-uh. If you have four, well, they're processing differently. There might be two that are a bit more the same, but they're processing this information differently. So that's why we need to be very present in the best way I know to be very present, unless you've been meditating for 40 years and you're down pat and you're able to say, okay, my brain wanted this, but that's not right. This is what's the right thing. I don't know many people who can do that. There are some. Congratulations to you. But otherwise, let's do the ABCs of Snap Tap Zap and calm our amygdala so that we can be leading our children and our partner, or partnering up with our partner. No, we don't want to lead our partner. We want, and just with love. So allow that love to radiate from your heart. If you need help opening your heart up to feel love again because you've been hurt and hurt, or every conversation you have with an ex is about hurt, there are different ways. There are ways to change it up. Thank you so much, Kristen, for joining us today. And remember, take a peek today and notice over the weekend is a great time to pause and to notice if you are saying something that creates low self-esteem for your child. Another way of asking the question could be, if my boss said that to me, how would I react? Well, that's another way. That might really trigger something. You'll need to snap, tap, and zap that out. And please release it. Don't go to regret and guilt. That's not going to serve you. But if you need to feel that, feel it, release it, and then move on. So I will see you next week for the ripple effect of love for dads and families. And if you're looking for a program for you and your spouse, maybe, or just you, where you want to gain some confidence, boundaries, connection with your child, you want to feel that you want to be able to manage your stress and your emotions. You want to be able to face those challenges. Please give me a call, book your call. I will see you soon. And you matter. I want you to know that you matter, and each and individual is, oops, it's not working. Each individual is very unique and very important. If you haven't figured out your uniqueness, now might be the best time. Take a deep breath, tune in, tap a little, and ask yourself, is this the right time for me? If it is, you just do it, feel the joy of doing it, and move on. Have a great week, and I will see you Monday, 12 Eastern. No, 1 Eastern time. Sorry.